What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson here, and yeah, I knew it. As soon as I saw the trailer, I knew it. I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna love this movie." I know I'm gonna love this movie. I don't even need to see the movie. I know I already love it. I'm saying. And you ever had that? Like, it happens to me all the time. But anyway, yeah, this is X. It's directed by Ty West. It stars Mia Goth, Jenna Ortega, becoming a scream queen herself. Martin Henderson, Brittany Snow, and Scott Mescudi, or Kid Cudi to some of you. So yeah, this movie is a old school grindhouse movie from the 70s. It takes place in 1979, takes place in Texas, and it's about this group of adult film actors that are looking to make it big in the adult film industry. It's right on the cusp of that VHS VCR era. And they're like, yeah, people are going to be able to watch these things in their home. They don't have to go to these like dank, dungy theaters anymore and put the little hat over their face and the sunglasses to try to hide this. They can just watch it right there in the comfort of their own home. This is going to be great. This thing is going to take off. We're going to make a ton of money. And so what they do is they find this kind of little isolated farmhouse out in the middle of nowhere in Texas. And they're like, yeah, we're just going to record our first film. Everybody's excited. There's high hopes on everybody's side. And then, yeah, the old man says, well, my wife is kind of disturbed. So, make sure, you don't go messing around the house. And of course, trouble ensues when night falls. I'm going to say it right now. This is a slow burn movie. And I like those. I said so in the Cursed. This is a slow burn, atmospheric, style over substance, but there is substance. So don't think that it's just style. It's just the 70s grindhouse feel to it. There's a lot more to it than meets the eye. This thing is well plotted. Like, it is very, very well plotted. And the character work, I'm gonna get to that in a minute. I'm really becoming impressed with Ty West. I've seen a couple of his films. I've seen The Innkeepers, which is kind of similar to that, and it's almost like two stories in one. And also The House of the Devil, which I also liked. And you can really tell that Ty West knows horror. I mean, he must have seen every horror movie known to man, because he really knows his way around the block. I mean, the way he sets things up, there's a lot of homages, even to like Psycho. I mean, you think, okay, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there's going to be a lot of that, some old grindhouse horror, but it even does some callbacks and throwbacks to Psycho, which is showing that this guy really, really knows his horror, and not just once, but a couple of times in this thing. Yeah, so I loved it. But getting to the characters, I mean, he really draws these characters out very, very well. We get a little bit from every character, even the old people who think, these old people are just old people. But no. There's a lot to these guys too. There's deep character work being done here, and that's all in the first half, and it's wonderful. And it even trickles into the second half after everything hits the fan, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, this is a great film. I can't really say a lot bad about it. I hear a lot of people talking about the length. I've heard a couple of reviewers say that this thing is too long. Now, I clocked it myself, and I was like, okay. I sat down in the theater. It was a 7 p.m. show on Thursday night. Film started at about 7:21, and then the credits were rolling at 9. So that's about a clean 99 minutes. I don't know what people are talking about. This is a perfectly paced, again, well plotted, perfectly paced. Yes, it is slow burn, but by the time you get to the point where you're maybe starting to drag a little bit, that's when the action kicks in, and it's funny, it's hilarious, it's the payoff is just great. So think about it. First half is slow setup. It's kind of like this. The dominoes, I always kind of liken slow burn to dominoes. Those little domino mazes that people set up. You got to set those up. And I guess I'm just one of those people that like seeing the setup. I like to see, how did he set all of these dominoes up? So when he knocks that first one over, here we go. I want to see how that happened. And yes, Ty West does a great job with that. So yeah, there's not much more to it. I do have to admit, it gets a little formulaic down the stretch. Horror film formula really starts becoming overly done, but that's it. It is what it is. It's not bad. All right, let's go ahead and check the scores and see what those have to say. All right, X. Let's check the scoreboard and see what we got. I guess I'm blocking the X, but that's an X behind me. All right, let's start it off with direction. So Ty West. It's stylish, you know, and like I said before, it's a lot of style. There is some substance, but there's definitely a lot of style, and that's fine. Like, films should be stylish, you know, it is an art form, and film is meant to be art. So there's nothing wrong with having a style to your show, and this is definitely all kinds of style. Like, this thing is just amazing to look at. It's great camera work. I'll get to that in a minute, but yeah, just really good. Takes full advantage of the genre as well. That's something that this guy does. He takes full advantage of the genre. He knows the horror genre. He must have seen every horror film ever seen, and he knows it back and forth like the, you know, like the back of his hand. I would also attribute this great story world that kind of comes out of nowhere, and it's more immersive than you expect it to be. And it's like, oh, okay, this is interesting, you know, all right, what's been going on here? Like, there's a very good story world. It's more immersive than I anticipated or expected. And then, yeah, of course, you know, with the direction of a horror film, sometimes it comes down to blood, guts, and how much you're willing to show. Plenty of blood and gore. I think this is a phenomenal directing job, probably the best I've seen so far this year. I'm gonna go ahead and give the direction a 9. All right, next up, script and story. So the script is just characters are great. Okay, like I said before, he really dives deep into almost every character. We get a little bit from everybody. We get a feeling of who these people are. You're rooting for, like, these adult actors, like you really are rooting for them, and you're really like kind of like, oh man, this is tough, hard to watch, but you know, a lot of fun to watch at the same time. It's full of suspense. You know, the script sets up suspense very, very well. You know, lots of tension. Unfortunately, there is some slight usage of jump scares, you know, but you know, that's just to be expected. You know, that's what people like, and it gives the audience that as well. And it kind of takes its foot off the gas. You know, I was a little surprised towards the end because it was going in a certain direction, and I was like, oh heck yeah, all right, I like what I'm seeing here. And then it just kind of takes its foot off the gas a little bit, just for a bit. You know, not going all the way, but that's okay. And I'm hearing that there is a sequel to this being set up, so maybe that's the reason why it didn't go as far as I wanted to go. I won't give you any spoilers because that'll completely ruin it, but there may be a sequel coming up that explains a little bit of the end, and if that's the case, then all right, makes sense. I know there's a prequel, but I'm not sure about the sequel. But if there is a sequel, it makes a lot of sense as to why we went in the direction that they went to. So yeah, that was good. And it just, like I said, it gets formulaic. I had mentioned that before. It's very formulaic down the stretch. It hits all the horror movie, you know, notes and tropes, and you know, that's fine. It's a horror film, but not entirely original in some spots. So unfortunately, that kind of knocks it down a peg. Otherwise, script and story were phenomenal. I'm gonna go ahead and give that an 8.5. All right, acting. Acting is superb. Can't really say anything negative about the acting. Jenna Ortega, Mia Goth. Mia Goth's the star of the show. I didn't know that she actually did the old lady as well. So she pulls double duty. She does her role, and then she's also playing the old woman, and that's pretty good. So I mean, this lady has a lot of acting talent. Did a phenomenal job there. So yeah, not much to say about that. All the actors really were pulled into their roles. You really feel the weight of every scene, and you know, you're rooting for them. The actors do a really, really good job, and I'm gonna give those folks a 8. All right, and then finally, sights and sounds. So there's great camera work. I did mention that before. The camera work is very reminiscent. I don't know why I felt this, and maybe it's just some of the old school 70s. He does like some wipes. He does some old side by side editings, you know, shots. It reminded me a lot of Dress to Kill, which is another Psycho reference. Go figure. But yeah, there's some really good disorienting kind of skips between scenes, right? That kind of just, you know, heighten the tension up, you know, a lot of disorientation. You're not sure what's going on. And they use it for a good effect. There's some jump scares with it, but they also use it just to kind of keep you on your toes, because you think a scene is over and then they're coming back to it, and they're kind of packing back and forth between a couple of scenes, the scene that you just left and the scene that you're going to, and you're kind of like, what's happening? What's going on? That's a disorienting effect that really works very well in this film. Also, the soundtrack is extremely intense. You know, I can't really say enough about a horror film that has a very complimentary soundtrack that kind of goes well with everything that we're watching. Again, it builds the tension up in the audience. So yeah, I'm gonna give Sights and Sounds a 9. All right, so if you add all the scores up and you do the math, that gives you a total score for X, my highest rated so far this year. It's an 8.5, a shade ahead of the Batman. All right, so that's it for X. What did you think about the movie? I know you're gonna go and watch this if you're a horror buff. So go ahead, jump down in the comments, give me your thoughts on the film, and tell me what you think. Tell me if you think that you know, my score is a fair score. I think 8.5 is good. I know a lot of people would probably give it even more, but yeah, I think that this film is phenomenal. I think this is great, and I'm really looking forward to this prequel that I'm hearing about with the old lady's character. I really want to see what he does with that. I don't know what time frame it takes place in, but it sounds great, and I'm really looking forward to that. All right, thanks for watching this review, and I'll see you next time. All right, folks, and as promised, there it is, number 1 with a bullet, X with an 8.5, followed by the Batman, The Cursed, Death on the Nile, and Scream in my top 5. So yeah, I know I'm gonna catch it's pretty soon, probably either today or tomorrow. So this scoreboard will be updated. We'll have our 10th film reviewed by the end of this weekend. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, those are my ratings. What are your ratings look like? You can definitely jump down in the comments and give me your thoughts on that. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.